those dreams you have, they all start with the intention, right? An intention, a crazy idea, an inkling of what you could create. It's intention that initiates the creation of everything you want to have. But it's action that enables the reception of it. And if you're not willing to take messy action and get it wrong because you don't want to mess with a good thing, then how the F are you ever going to learn how to get it right? What's up, ladies, and welcome to the Millionaire Girls Club podcast. My name is Jill Stanton, and there are no words to describe how excited I am for this new brand. I've actually had this idea now for nearly 2 freaking years. I first came up with it back in early 2019 while we were living in Bali, and as it got closer to me actually starting it, I pulled back. Why? Because straight up, I was scared. I had all the swirling thoughts like, who am I to host Millionaire Girls Club? What if there are more successful women than me tuning in? What if people talk behind my back or troll me on social media or call me out? Maybe I should just stick to my lane inside Screw the 9 to 5. And it took me nearly 2 years and a whole lot of conversations with my girlfriends to help me realize, fuck that. All that is fear. All it is my ego trying to control the show, because our brains, our egos don't want us to rock the boat, right? Especially when we're already successful in our businesses. They like the predictable. They like the known. But here's the thing. Your future isn't created in the predictable. The magic you want to experience, the success, the freedom, the wealth, the impact, the meaning, the purpose, that stuff isn't created in the familiar. All of that happens in the unknown, which is why it can feel so scary. Have you ever experienced that? You want to launch something new or go bigger than you've ever gone in your business. And the minute you start to take action towards making all that happen, you get all up in your head. Maybe for you, that looks like saying things like, I can't create that. I'm not ready yet. Or they, whoever they are already doing it. Or they have a bigger audience than me. Or maybe it's like they're prettier than me. Or they're thinner than me. Or they're younger than me. Or they're smarter than me. That's one I've had to work through in a big way, full transparency. Or even maybe something like they have a bigger team than I do, or they come from a better background than me, or I already have a good thing going. Why would I mess with it? Fess up. I know you've done it before. Hell, I've clearly done it before, and I know I'm not alone there. And the minute I had that awareness, the minute I realized, oh, shoot, that's actually not what conscious me, the real me, wants to believe. The second I realized, oh, okay, that's Amy Jackson rearing her ugly head, and I'll explain who Amy Jackson is in just a quick second, I was finally able to get out of my own way and hit record on that first episode. And I want to create a place for you to start becoming aware of the thoughts you think that are holding you back from crossing the $1 million mark, so you can catch them the minute they come up, cancel them as soon as you're aware of them, and then if you're like me, you'll say cancel out loud the minute you're aware of them, and then correct them with the new thoughts you want to believe. And honestly, I truly believe this is the work. Becoming aware of the low vibe thoughts you think, that awareness is the first freaking domino to upgrading the way you think. Because I'm telling you right now, you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. And yes, friends, I did just quote Dr. Phil on episode 1 of MGC. Thank you very much. Because if you aren't aware of the thoughts you think or the beliefs you hold about your ability or inability to create, do, have, or experience anything you want, you'll keep repeating those same habits and you'll keep getting the same results. And something tells me you wouldn't be listening to this episode right now if you were already making millions, which is why I'm going to drive this point home on the show, because you become what you believe. And if you aren't consistently checking your beliefs around what you want to believe, you'll stay stuck. You'll plateau and you'll feel frustrated AF that you aren't where you want to be. And I'm not going to lie, as you do this, as you start to get clear and become aware of what you believe, as you start to consciously create your beliefs, as you start to step into that next level version of yourself, you're going to notice your inner critic kick up a whole lot more. And you'll notice yourself likely being extra mean to yourself with things like, who are you to be doing this? Or do you really want to risk what you've built? Or, oh my God, you're so greedy. Or why do you need to make that much money? Is any of this sounding familiar? How about you're so full of yourself? Or what makes you think you can be that rich? Or what about you're ugly, you're dumb, you're not pretty enough, you're not thin enough, no one's going to like it? Any of this sounding familiar? All of these low vibe, disempowering beliefs, These are the things we quietly torture ourselves with. And as those start to come up for you, whatever yours might be, I want you to start becoming aware of them. I want you to catch them as soon as you notice your thoughts starting to swirl. And I want you to give that voice a name. So who is someone in your life that you don't like? Or who is someone that you would never take advice from? Or who's someone that you don't really respect? For me, it's Amy Jackson. Amy Jackson was such a dick to me in high school. She tortured me for years. She spray painted stuff on the walls at school about me. She would lock me in bathrooms at parties. She would throw beer cans at me at parties, snowballs, which sounds so Canadian. She would humiliate me. She was a dick. I do not respect Amy Jackson whatsoever. And I would never trade places with Amy Jackson. And so I named my inner critic after her. That way, when that voice comes up and when it does come up, I can immediately catch it and dismiss it as something I don't want to believe, don't respect, or would never take advice from. So who's your Amy Jackson? Have a think about this. And if you're feeling extra daring, hit me up on IG at the Millionaire Girls Club and DM me with the name you've given your inner critic. I'm telling you, ladies, right now, there is power in doing this work. There's power in taking control back of the thoughts you think, the words you say, the images you form in your mind, because that is how you create your reality. And that is how you go from 6 figures to 7 to multi-7 to 8. And if you aren't consistently working towards upgrading the thoughts you think, the words you say, or the images you make in your mind, you're going to create a lackluster life. I'm telling you right now. And that ain't what the Millionaire Girls Club is all about. Hell no. And I guess right now would probably be the perfect time for me to give you the 401 on what this show and this brand is all about. And of course, who the heck I am now that we're like a few minutes deep into this episode. So I'm Jill Stanton, and I'm one half of Screwed the 9 to 5, a multi-million-dollar business I built with my husband, Josh, where we help up-and-coming course creators and coaches get their offers created and converting so that they can quit their jobs and get their business past the $100,000 a year mark. I'm also a mom to the cutest little guy named Kai, who's about to turn 3. I'm a sun chaser, a rule bender, a crazy idea haver, and a coach that is all about the inner game. And I started this brand to connect with unapologetically successful women entrepreneurs who want to take their 6-figure businesses across the $1 million mark and have it all. The money, the love, the sex, the family, the badass friendships, the connections, the confidence to create anything and everything they want, the freedom, the travel when the world opens again, the experiences, the world-shifting belief that she can have whatever the F she wants, whenever she wants, however she wants, and that the universe will conspire to bring it all into her world as soon as she starts being the type of person who has everything she says she wants. And that really is the big thing here. This podcast is going to have a big focus on inner game, with a sprinkle of strategy mixed in. And of course, stories and spotlights of women and a few fellas who have crossed the $1 million mark and what it really took for them to get there. I'll also be hosting a 2-day workshop called Your First Million for women who are making over $100,000 and want the guidance and tools to make their first million. It'll be a dynamic 2-day workshop with guest speakers, implementation sessions, breakout masterminds, Q&A, accountability squads. After the workshop is over, it's going to be next level. I'll be sure to drop the link for that, for the wait list in the show notes if you do want to hear more about that. Plus, I'll be hosting a little thing called MGC Connect, which is a 9-month mastermind community for women making over $500,000 a year and are looking to connect with other women at that level who are playing a big game. We'll have monthly hot seat calls, monthly curated mastermind squads. We'll have monthly guest experts, and of course, 2 luxury retreats where we'll take this party offline. I cannot freaking wait for it. And this is something I've wanted in my business for so long, right? I've craved connecting with wildly successful women who have big dreams and the guts to go for them. I've craved connecting with women I could share my wild and crazy dreams with, my wins with, women who would keep it real with me and give me the feedback I needed, right? Women who would call me on my stuff, even if I wasn't ready to hear it at that moment. And if you're thinking to yourself like, hell yes, I want that. Or if you want to find out how to work with me privately, because I'm doing some select private work, hit the links in the show notes below because I'll guide you to all of that. And honestly, I'm just so stoked to bring this show into the world. I'm just so happy I hit play or hit record. As I said at the beginning of this episode, I sat on this idea for way too long because I was scared. See, I've always had this belief that Josh is the teacher or the coach in our business. And I made that mean that I wasn't as good as him, or I'm not structured, or I ramble a lot, I swear a lot, I'm feisty, I'm cheeky, I'm blunt, and I tell it like it is. And I let that bullshit story hold me back for far too long. And it wasn't until June of 2020 when I hosted my first solo coaching series on all things mindset when I realized that's what I wanted to do. And if I could leave you with one thing, it would be this. For so long, I struggled to find my purpose. I mean, yes, I love everything we do in Screw the 9 to 5, of course, but it never felt like my capital P purpose. And then when I decided to host my first coaching series, I had that breakthrough. I realized how much I love jamming on all things mindset. And more than that, I saw how many people vibed with it. I would watch people shift in real time. I would watch their old disempowering beliefs like dissipate in one live session. And I realized in that moment that sometimes we find our purpose through action. See, I didn't wake up and think, oh, sweet, I know my purpose now. No, I found it by taking action. I had an inspired idea to start sharing everything I had been learning about mindset, and I took immediate action. And from there, everything started to come together. But I didn't get to this podcast by thinking my way here. I took messy action. I started jotting down ideas. I started creating my episode outlines. I started dreaming up ideas of things I could offer so that I could serve the hell out of the women who find their way into MGC. And here's the thing I want you to realize. Those dreams you have, they all start with the intention, right? An intention, a crazy idea, an inkling of what you could create. It's intention that initiates the creation of everything you want to have. But it's action that enables the reception of it. And if you're not willing to take messy action and get it wrong because you don't want to mess with a good thing, then how the F are you ever going to learn how to get it right? How are you ever going to learn how to go to the next level? How to cross that $1 million mark? Right? And so if I could leave you with one thing, it would be this. That crazy idea you have, that desire you have to go really freaking big in your business, it's on you to get it out into the world. Because I'm telling you right now, the world needs entrepreneurs now more than ever because we're the ones who create the world. We're the opportunity makers, the creators, the innovators, and huge drivers of the economy. And if you aren't willing to embrace the uncertainty, if you aren't willing to get it wrong, if you aren't willing to mess up, if you aren't willing to fall on your face, then you'll never know the thrill of getting it right. Because you can't have the ups without the downs. And it's that contrast that makes everything worth having. And I know you have what it takes. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. So thank you so much for tuning into my first episode of Millionaire Girls Club. If you were jiving with this episode, I would be forever grateful if you left me a review on iTunes so I can start to get this show out into the world and in front of the women who need it. And if you're watching on YouTube, then please hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode. And if you aren't already, please come connect with me over on Instagram at the Millionaire Girls Club. All you got to do is snap a pic and share it to your stories with your favorite takeaway, an aha moment, or whatever vibed with you so that I can see it and we can connect and I can create more of what you like. I'll add all these links in the show notes below. And just finally, thank you so much for allowing me to pop up into your iTunes newsfeed, your YouTube newsfeed, your social media newsfeed. It means the world to me. And I'm going to continue to bring the heat. And I just so appreciate you tuning in and sharing this experience with me. I never take it for granted. And I can't wait to see you on the next episode. Peace.